So, the first chapter of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 9, the JOJOLands, has finally come out, and it really is quite something. Hi y'all, I'm Bayfond, and today I wanted to talk about this monumental first chapter. This is the first time that many of us are gonna be experiencing a part as it begins. And my first thoughts of this are that it's just kind of really fucking wild. I'm kind of sort of in like a shock and awe kind of phase. And I guess it's pretty fitting for this kind of story because it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for a reason, and Araki really doesn't let up, does he? So in terms of the story, it looks like we're gonna be rerunning some of those aspects of gang mentality, drugs, that entire criminal otherworld side from all of Golden Wind here, but with quite the twist. JoJo Joestar is probably the antithesis of anything and everything that is Giorno Giovanna. This guy's a complete dick, and he doesn't give a shit about what you think about him. To some, I can assume that this kind of personality is gonna be new and refreshing. They're gonna absolutely enjoy this kind of JoJo. I mean, we've never had a purely selfish, kind of evil-leaning JoJo before. And this connection to Giorno is definitely apparent here when it comes to his age, and especially when it comes to his name. It seems like this character's arrogance and desire for money is something that really spreads from the Dio part of their name. It's kind of funny. I wouldn't be surprised if instead of this character's nickname being JoJo, it's just gonna be them called Dio. It'd be a nice subversion, but it'd still make complete sense. The only real hint towards this character having a little bit of selflessness is when it comes to his family, saving his sibling and trying to make a good life for his mom. So at the very least, he's got that going on for him. So that's definitely something that's gonna let Araki make completely different kinds of stories. In my perspective on this 15-year-old kid, I can't wait until he gets his shit kicked in. Preferably by Josuke, because that's who I think they're gonna visit in the next few issues. But I'm gonna touch on that story element later down in this video. But to my surprise here, we're not just getting one Joestar here, we're getting two. Dracona Joestar is a character that is very interesting to me, because we're not really 100% sure about what this character is kind of all about. At first glance, this character looks to be a woman, and is definitely a stand-in for Jolene, but they're referred to with a he-him vernacular. And I'm pretty curious to see about what Araki's gonna do with this character, because he can go all in with the root of someone being trans in the JoJo universe for the first time, or it could just turn out that his naming scheme is like to the level of J.K. Rowling, and this could just be a play on the words drag on a Joestar, which I could kind of be disappointed by, but we'll know as the story goes on. And when looking at their stand here, is that this universe's equivalent of Sex Pistols? Well, like I said, we haven't gone too in-depth with their character yet, so it might as well be. And in the first few pages, we see that Araki is not messing around with how wild he wants this series to be. There's police brutality, sexual assault, and excessive violence, where we also get the introduction of the new stand, November Rain. So, all of you people guessing what that November meant in his outfit, well, you were right about that. The comment sections for November Rain, Smooth Operator, and The Heist have already been hijacked by the JoJo fans. So everyone that's gonna be checking up on their favorite songs, well, they're gonna be in for a surprise. And in the next few pages, we get a doubling down of what these characters are essentially doing, as they are trafficking drugs throughout the entire island. Oh yeah, the story does take place in Hawaii, so JOJOLands is very, very fitting there. And it doubles down that this JoJo doesn't give a fuck about what your opinion of him is. Araki definitely wants this story to feel completely different. I mean, he didn't even reference a classic rock song in the beginning. He referenced Dua Lipa. So we get to see that Araki is definitely evolving here. We also see in this chapter, in addition to the family tree, a line that we didn't see at the ending of part 8, where we see where the Kira line is in relation to this new Joestar line. Whether that means that this Joseph Joestar also had an affair, I guess we're gonna have to see. But we're definitely getting a much more straightforward story here. Araki doesn't want us to take any guesses on what the lineage really means here. He's definitely trying to give us space from how the beginning of JoJoLand was. And in this chapter, we also get to see what our apparent gang is gonna be looking like. We've got the two Joestar siblings, then we've got 19-year-old Paco, who's gonna be like the pickpocket of the group here. We've got the boss, whose name is Meryl, and she, in my opinion, is serving the role of what like Popo was doing. She's definitely not giving me vibes of no bucciarate here. And a fourth character that just gives me complete flashbacks of Filthy Frank's Pink Guy, which would have been hard for this character not to do because he's wearing a onesie that is almost one-to-one identical to it. So there's that too. And they get the first mission, or the heist, that's gonna be the first arc of this series, where they have to steal a diamond from a Japanese traveler that's arrived alone. And here, I just want to start one of my predictions. So the title of JoJoLands is referring to the islands of Hawaii here. There's no two ways around this. It is what it is. But I also think that there could be a double meaning here, because you see, it's called the JOJOLands in some promotional images and artwork. So wouldn't it make sense for that lonesome traveler coming to Hawaii for them to be Josuke, but then we would have to see what the context is on why he brought a diamond and so forth and so on. But again, I've seen other theories that this could be Tsurugi grown up so that we have an opportunity to see them, or Joshu because it's Joshu and of course he'd have a diamond on him at all times. But I'm very curious to see what we're gonna be getting here. I would already say right now that this is one of the more eclectic feeling groups in JoJo. We don't really know much about them so far, and we're kind of just thrown in straight into the action. And maybe there's gonna be good reason for that too, because we don't know how this story is gonna go, and it's told to us in the perspective of someone retelling their story. And the way that they phrase it at the end here kind of implies that everything goes bad. So maybe this isn't gonna be our permanent group, but just the one that we're getting in this first chapter. Who knows? Maybe Araki's gonna be feeling like he's in a bit of a goofy mood and kills off the entire cast except Jodio. I will literally not rule out any possibility in this story, because to be honest, right now, this is essentially the opposite of what I was expecting this part to be like. I've already reread this chapter about 5 times now, and I can't get it out of my head. So I definitely needed to make a video like this just to get my thoughts out there. And while I'm still kind of like in this shocked state while looking at the characters and the setting and the world, it has me curious. So I'm definitely gonna keep reading along. I mean, I haven't been following for this many years just to stop. But for right now, these were my thoughts on this first chapter of the JOJOLands. If you already read this, please tell me your thoughts and your theories down in the comments below. Let me know why you think Jodio is your favorite Joestar so far, and why Toru's gonna come down from that plane. And as always, I was Bayfond, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.